From translation, NIV New International Version. This 82 day of the year. Today we are reading passages, Judges 13 to 15. Judges chapter 13, verses 1 to 25. The Israelites again did evil in the eyes of the Lord, so the Lord delivered them into the hands of the Philistines for 40 years. A certain man of Zorah named Mano from the clan of the Danites had a wife who was childless, unable to give birth. The angel of the Lord appeared to her and said, "You are barren and childless, but you are going to conceive and give birth to a son. Now see to it that you drink no wine or other fermented drink, and that you do not eat anything unclean, because you will conceive and give birth to a son. No razor shall be used on his head, because the boy is to be a Nazirite, set apart to God from birth, and he will begin the deliverance of Israel from the hands of the Philistines." Then the woman went to her husband and said, "A man of God came to me. He looked like an angel of God, awesome in appearance. I didn't ask him where he came from, and he didn't tell me his name. But he said to me, 'You will conceive and give birth to a son. Now then, drink no wine or other fermented drink, and do not eat anything unclean, because the boy will be a Nazirite set apart to God from birth, until the day of his death.' Then Mano prayed to the Lord, 'Pardon your servant, Lord. I beg you, let the man of God you sent to us come again to teach us how to bring up the boy who is to be born.' God heard Mano, and the angel of God came again to the woman while she was out in the field, but her husband Mano was not with her. The woman hurried to tell her husband, 'He's here, the man who appeared to me the other day.' Mano got up and followed his wife. When he came to the man, he said, 'Are you the one who talked to my wife?' 'I am,' he said. So Mano asked him, 'When your words are fulfilled, what is the young boy to do and to work?' The angel of the Lord answered him, 'Your wife must do all that I have told her. She must not eat anything that comes from the grapevine, nor drink any wine or other fermented drink, nor eat anything unclean. She must obey all I have commanded her.' Mano said to the angel of the Lord, 'We would like you to stay until we have prepared a young goat for you.' The angel of the Lord replied, 'Even though you detain me, I will not eat any of your food. But if you prepare a burnt offering, offer it to the Lord.' Mano did not realize that it was the angel of the Lord. Then Mano said to the angel of the Lord, 'What is your name, so that when your words come true we can honor you?' He replied, 'Why do you ask my name? It is beyond understanding.' The angel of the Lord then said to Mano, 'You are all right, do not offer your sacrifice to the other gods.' While Mano and his wife were watching, the Lord did something miraculous. As the flame blazed up from the altar toward heaven, the angel of the Lord ascended in the flame. Seeing this, Mano and his wife fell with their faces to the ground. When the angel of the Lord did not show himself again to Mano and his wife, Mano realized that it was the angel of the Lord. 'We are doomed to die,' he said to his wife. 'We have seen God.' But his wife answered, 'If the Lord had meant to kill us, he would not have accepted a burnt offering and grain offering from our hands, nor shown us all these things or now told us this.' The woman gave birth to a boy and named him Samson. He grew, and the Lord blessed him. And the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him in the camp of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol. Judges chapter 14, verses 1 to 20. Samson went down to Timnah and saw there a young Philistine woman. When he returned, he said to his father and mother, 'I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife.' His father and mother replied, 'Is there no woman among the daughters of your relatives, or among all our people, that you must go to get a wife from the uncircumcised Philistines?' But Samson said to his father, 'Get her for me, she is the right one for me.' His father and mother did not know that this was from the Lord, who was seeking an occasion to confront the Philistines. At that time the Philistines were ruling over Israel. Samson went down to Timnah with his father and mother. As they approached the vineyards of Timnah, suddenly a young lion came roaring toward him. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, so that he tore the lion apart with his bare hands, as he might have torn a young goat. But he did not tell his father or mother what he had done. Then he went down and talked with the woman, and he liked her. Some time later, when he went back to marry her, he turned aside to look at the lion's carcass, and in it was a swarm of bees and honey. He scooped out the honey with his hands and ate it as he went along. When he rejoined his parents, he gave some to them, but he did not tell them that he had taken the honey from the lion's carcass. Now his father went down to see the woman, and Samson made a feast there, as young men were customarily to do. When the people saw him, they chose 30 companions to be with him. Samson said to them, 'Let me tell you a riddle. If you can solve it for me within the 7 days of the feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. But if you can't tell me the answer, you must give me 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes.' 'Tell us your riddle,' they said. 'Let's hear it.' He replied, 'Out of the eater something to eat, out of the strong something sweet.' For 3 days they could not give the answer. On the fourth day, they said to Samson's wife, "Coax your husband into explaining the riddle for us, or we will burn you and your father's household to death. Did you invite us here to take all our possessions?" Then Samson's wife cried on his shoulder and said, "You hate me, you don't really love me. You've given my people a riddle, but you haven't told me the answer." "I haven't even told my father or mother," he replied. "Should I tell you?" She cried the whole 7 days of the feast. So on the 7th day he finally told her, because she continued to press him. She in turn explained the riddle to her people. Before sunset on the 7th day, the men of the town said to him, "What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion?" Samson said to them, "If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle." The Spirit of the Lord came upon him in power. He went down to Ashkelon, struck down 30 of their men, stripped them and took their clothes, and gave the sets of clothes to those who had explained the riddle. Burning with anger, he returned to his father's home, and Samson's wife was given to the friend who had attended him at his wedding. Judges chapter 15, verses 1 to 20. Later on, at the time of wheat harvest, Samson took a young goat and went to visit his wife in Timnah. He said, "I'm going to my wife's room," but her father would not let him go in. "I was so sure you thoroughly hated her," her father said, "that I gave her to your friend. Isn't her younger sister more attractive? Take her instead." Samson said to them, "This time I have a right to get even with the Philistines. I will really harm them." So he went out and caught 300 foxes and tied them tail to tail in pairs. He then tied a torch to every pair of tails. He lit the torches and let the foxes loose in the standing grain of the Philistines. He burned up the shocks and standing grain, together with the vineyards and olive groves. The Philistines asked, "Who did this?" "Samson," they answered, because his father-in-law gave Samson's wife to his friend. So the Philistines came up and burned her and her father to death. Samson said to them, "Since you've acted like this, I won't stop until I get my revenge on you." He attacked them viciously and slaughtered many of them. Then he went down and stayed in a cave in the rock of Etam. The Philistines went up and camped in Judah, spreading out near Lehi. The men of Judah asked, "Why have you come to fight us?" "We have come to take Samson prisoner," they answered, "to do to him as he did to us." Then 3,000 men of Judah went down to the cave in the rock of Etam and said to Samson, "Don't you realize that the Philistines are rulers over us? What have you done to us?" He answered, "I only did to them what they did to me." The men of Judah said to him, "We've come to tie you up and hand you over to the Philistines." "We are going to tie you securely and hand you over to them," they replied. "Won't you fight back?" Samson asked. "No," they said, "we've only come to tie you up and hand you over to the Philistines." They bound him with 2 new ropes and led him up from the rock. As he approached Lehi, the Philistines came toward him shouting. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. The ropes on his arms became like flax that has caught fire, and his bonds melted away from his hands. He found a fresh jawbone of a donkey, struck down 1,000 men with it. Then he said, "With a donkey's jawbone I have made donkeys of them. With a jawbone I have made donkeys of them." When he finished speaking, he threw the jawbone away, and that place was called Ramath Lehi. Because he was very thirsty, he cried out to the Lord, "You have given your servant this great victory. Must I now die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised?" Then God opened up the hollow place in Lehi, and water came out of it. When Samson drank, his strength returned and he revived. So the spring was called En-Hakkore, and it is still there in Lehi. Samson led Israel for 20 years in the days of the Philistines.